Will The Rock return at SummerSlam and make Cody Rhodes his corporate champion? Welcome to the Lattes Vision, episode 27. Let's get into it. So SummerSlam is tomorrow. The Rock returning is a heavily rumored and discussed topic right now. And I think as it should be. We have a theory here from a person named Chanman on Twitter. Here is their theory. This might be a long shot, but what if The Rock returns and helps Cody become his corporate champion, finally turning Cody Rhodes heel? People were starting to get tired of babyface Cody as champion. A heel turn like that could completely reinvent his character, similar to how Roman Reigns evolved from the big dog into the tribal chief. It's probably a long shot, but what if? And this was, when I saw this, I thought it was really interesting, and I thought it could be something I could give my thoughts on, and I think this would be dope. And during a interaction with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk on last week's SmackDown, I believe, Cody, as you can see in the picture of that tweet in the bottom right, he held up a 4. Obviously, The Rock has done 1, 2, and 3. So, who knows? Maybe Cody Rhodes is hinting at this. A lot of people, including me, are very tired of babyface Cody Rhodes. The only time he is good is when he does heelish things, like when he intentionally caused a DQ by hitting Drew McIntyre with the title so he could retain. When he's aggressive and has that edge that babyface Cody Rhodes just doesn't usually have. WWE wants to make SummerSlam a bigger event than WrestleMania. They love their huge social media moments, and you can't sit here and tell me that The Rock uniting with Cody Rhodes to end night 1 of WrestleMania would not make headlines, would not be that huge social media moment. It absolutely would be. Just The Rock's return in and of itself would be that big of a moment, but him uniting with Cody Rhodes would just make it 10 times bigger. It would make it even more electrifying. See what I did there? And this would give Cody a whole new character, and I would absolutely be open to seeing Cody Rhodes win if this was going to happen. But if this isn't going to happen, which I doubt it will, but if it's not going to happen, CM Punk should 100% be winning this. Unless Cody Rhodes is turning heel in some way, CM Punk needs to be winning this match, because I am tired of his character, but also him constantly being in the title scene. But this would be absolutely huge and ground-shaking from the WWE, especially since, extra in 2026, they have been so conservative. They don't have the balls to do anything. They are not willing to move the needle more than a millimeter at a time. They need to take that needle and chuck it across the fucking stadium. If they want to have a huge narrative going into the fall months, they want people to keep watching through the fall months, which is when WWE typically has its least viewers because of the NFL season, and if this is something that would get people to stay. So while I don't think this is going to happen at all, this would be absolutely groundbreaking. But that's just a theory. A wrestling theory. Sorry, I'll never do that again. But anyways, let's talk about the SummerSlam card. And on paper, this thing looks absolutely insane. Night 1, you got Fatal Influence versus Nikki, Brie, and Paige. You got the Usos and Jacob Fatu against Royce Keys, LA Knight. Yeah! And Solo Sikoa. Gunther versus Nick Aldis. Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi inside of Hell in a Cell. And CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. I mean, okay, let me get into night 2 before I give my thoughts. Trick versus Baron Corbin for the U.S. title. Penta versus Chad Gable for the IC title. Dom versus Danhausen for 100,000 human monies on a pole match. Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn for number 1 contendership for the undisputed WWE Championship. And I almost did it all in one take there. Then you have the Women's Interim Championship ladder match between Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, and Julia or Lash Legend. And lastly, but certainly not least, Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins. This card, if you just look at the card, is absolutely insane, and WWE genuinely has the chance to put on a generational SummerSlam. Like, genuinely one of, if not the greatest SummerSlams of all time. They have such a huge opportunity here, and I really feel like they're gonna fumble it. There's a couple things that would just make this arguably the greatest SummerSlam of all time. Stephanie or Naomi return and Liv versus Io. Oba defeats Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell, absolutely destroys him in a super chaotic match. Cody Rhodes turns heel or CM Punk turns heel. Chad Gable wins his first singles championship. Finn Balor beats Sami Zayn, and the revival of Finn Balor is here. Chelsea Green wins the interim women's championship, giving us a super duper fun experiment until Rhea Ripley comes back. And Roman Reigns finally beating Seth Rollins and then facing off with The Rock at the end of it to set up WrestleMania 43. You do those things, and I think this genuinely will be the greatest SummerSlam of all time. But either way, just due to the fact that I'm going to this event, I am unbelievably hyped. And just a reminder to you guys, a SummerSlam vlog will be coming out probably the week after SummerSlam. Like, probably the Thursday after SummerSlam or something like that. I cannot wait for SummerSlam, baby. Let's talk about a Roxanne Perez fan that was threatening to show up at her home, and they got their Twitter account suspended. This is just, it's genuinely sad. This is something I didn't really touch on too much in my women's wrestling's being disrespected video, but it feels like every couple months we have a new report about a creepy fan, usually with female wrestlers threatening to show up at their house, threatening to like kill their boyfriend, or just some messed up stuff, just some down bad degenerate freaks. Like literally every couple months, just like a month or two ago, they had Rhea Ripley was talking about a similar thing to this, and it's so sad that we have to breathe the same air as people like this. I genuinely don't know how you can be this down bad and this bad of a person and this much of a weirdo. I don't know what in the world motivates you to do this, and it's so just disturbing, and it needs to stop because, like I said, it is literally happening every couple months. So if you're one of the people who thinks stuff like this or thinks this stuff is okay, get some help. Lola Vice is reportedly expected to be called up to the main roster, specifically to SmackDown, which makes sense. Damian Priest is on SmackDown. WWE typically keeps couples on the same show, so they can travel together. Lola Vice just recently lost both of her titles. Her final match is this coming Tuesday on NXT, it seems like, against Kendall Gray. Very ready to be called up to the main roster. She's extremely talented, and I can't wait to see what Lola Vice can do on the main roster. John Cena has confirmed. We got some new news on the John Cena Classic. We haven't heard anything at all about it since Backlash, which was like 2 months ago, almost 3 months ago. He says that the event is being targeted for the end of the year, which makes sense, lines up with when he retired, and work is they're still working on it. It's all going, and I can't wait to see what this event is. I think it's a great way to end the year. However, I don't know if it's necessarily a very good idea to have it in like a December or something, because a lot of episodes of SmackDown and Raw in December are pre-taped because of things like Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's Eve. A bunch of different holidays are in December, but I don't know. I trust they'll figure it out, and I hope they make it so TKO or WWE can't rig it, and it's genuinely up to the fans. because that is currently the only issue that I see or have with the John Cena retirement tour. It was heavily reported that Bayley is going to be leaving WWE. I think everybody and their mama thought she was, especially after she lost clean to Lyra Valkyria. However, she returned at a WWE live event in Stockton, California against Sol Ruca and Lyra Valkyria. So it seems like she's not leaving. And she attacked Lyra Valkyria in that match, but she hasn't been featured on the past 2 episodes of Raw, which is a little weird. But if they were going to release her, they would not have her compete at a live event. So I think we're safe. I don't think Bayley's leaving, at least not anytime soon. And I'm very glad that that's happening. I don't understand why, though, if Bayley wasn't leaving, why in the world did they not just put Bayley versus Lyra at SummerSlam? WWE is fully aware of the negative narrative around AI in WWE. Yeah, they're just going to use it even more. And it's like so stupid. Like, well, it's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, as long as it's not like hideous. It's just really, really annoying. Like, this is a $35 billion company that we are talking about right now. And they can't afford to just shell out a couple tens of thousands of dollars or something to get artists, to get people to make video packages. That is genuinely preposterous. Seriously, man, come on. How about you invest some money back into the thing that's earning you some money? How about that, huh? Solo Sikoa is on fire. I mean, everybody is absolutely loving Solo Sikoa along with myself. This is the best, the peak of Solo Sikoa's character. He is hilarious. He is so over with the crowd. He's getting TV time like every week. And it seems like WWE is behind him too, because people within WWE reportedly have had significant praise for Solo Sikoa's recent work. The babyface run was originally expected to be short-term, but now there's internal speculation that those plans could be reconsidered based on how well it has been received, and I think it has been received extremely well. He is one of the most charismatic guys on the entire roster, and he could genuinely be a main eventer purely just based off of how charismatic he truly is. And I really hope WWE doesn't abandon this, because we need more babyface Solo Sikoa in our lives and on our TV screens. Brock Lesnar is reportedly, well, it's been rumored a lot, and I think everybody has been expecting Brock Lesnar to retire at SummerSlam, but apparently the feeling within WWE is that he's not retiring at SummerSlam, which seems extremely weird. And I'm seeing a lot of people now start saying that he's not going to retire, like Santi Zap. A lot of people saying that he's not going to retire, but people seem to be forgetting that Brock Lesnar didn't tell anyone, seemingly, that he was retiring at WrestleMania. It seemed like he didn't even tell Paul Heyman. So if he's retiring this time, why would he change that? Why would he tell them this time but not tell them last time? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I do honestly think that Brock Lesnar is going to retire at SummerSlam. I get Saudi Arabia might want him for WrestleMania 43, but I'm saying he's going to retire here. And honestly, you can't have Gunther go back to killing careers, man. I mean, it's over, bro. It is genuinely over. You are not going to be taken as a serious threat, and everybody's just going to hate Triple H even more if he continues shoving him down our throats, making him retire more people after WWE has already made him look like a complete idiot, and he's facing a general manager. No disrespect to Nick Aldis, but a lot of people know him as just a general manager, so he is facing a general manager at the second biggest event of the year. It's over for Gunther. Danhausen hate is just coming out of absolutely nowhere because he had one bad segment. Everybody is saying Danhausen is overused. He's being shoved down our throats. And it's not just me saying that. It's Bleacher Report saying that. Bleacher Report thinks Danhausen's being overused. I'm not reading all that because I'm illiterate, but they say Danhausen causes problems for major stories and delivers more bad comedy, and that his TV appearances are much more hit and miss, leading to a new low on Raw with his segment with Joe Hendry. I'm going to dissect this point by point here. First, he causes problems for major stories. Yes, I'm not going to disagree with that. However, I will disagree with the part that says stories. He has only caused issues with one major story, that being Liv Morgan and her Women's World Championship reign. That has caused so many problems for Liv Morgan, and it is a dead giveaway of whether or not she's going to win at SummerSlam. If she stays cursed, she's losing. If she gets uncursed, she's winning. It's not 100% guaranteed because maybe she could stay cursed, win, and then the Judgment Day turns on her, but it's basically guaranteed. So yes, it has caused some issues in that way, but it's not like they're getting Danhausen involved with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, or CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, or the Women's Interim Championship ladder match, or anything like that. But I do 100% agree, Danhausen should not be involved in the World Championship scene, and he should have never cursed Liv Morgan. Next, delivers bad comedy. What the hell are you talking about? Danhausen literally has like the funniest segment every single week pretty much. It's always either him or R-Truth with the funniest segment every week. I don't know where in the world you got bad comedy come from. He is absolutely hilarious. And lastly, his appearances on TV are much more hit and miss. What are we talking about, man? The dude had one bad segment. Literally, I think every single Danhausen segment he has ever had in the WWE has been a hit. Some of them might have been bunts, some of them were home runs. But every single one, I think, has been a hit, except the Joe Hendry and Danhausen concert. And, like, there is so much Danhausen hate just exploding online after one bad segment. And it's not even, like, his fault. If it was just shortened and you didn't have fuck-ass Ryan Garcia get in there, the homophobic piece of shit, the segment would have been just fine and everybody would have been... Nobody would say, he's getting shoved down our throats. It is genuinely so dumb. We got some Vikings news up next. The Vikings are expected to reveal their new rivalry uniforms on August 25th. So, in case you don't know, August 25th is my birthday, and the color schemes for these uniforms, if you look at the picture from the tweet in the top left, that's basically the exact color scheme. It's like a royal purple, kind of a gold, and then like a darker royal gold, and then a cream white, kind of like an off-white almost. They're kind of the same thing, whatever. These uniforms have potential to be something special. The Vikings basically have never missed when it comes to uniforms. Just their normal ones, phenomenal. Their winter whiteout ones, oh Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust. The classic uniforms, dear God. Their color rush uniforms, I mean, they always hit with their uniforms. I genuinely do not think that the Vikings have ever had bad uniforms. Even their 2010s ones, I think, look great. So, this will be the deciding factor of whether or not I have a good birthday. No, I'm just kidding. But I cannot wait to see these new uniforms. And also, by the way, there is a chance I could possibly stream some of the Vikings preseason games, just so you know. The Vikings are also signing linebacker Jamal Adams, and I am hyped for this. How are you going to stop a Brian Flores defense that has Andrew Van Ginkel on your right, Diamond Dallas Turner on your left, Big Citrus ready to eat your center alive, with Caleb Banks right next to him, Eric Wilson and Blake Cashman in the B gaps, and then Jamal Adams right behind them? What are you going to do to stop that? In case you don't know, Jamal Adams was one of the best safeties in the league for a good 4 years and is absolutely still a very viable option. He had like 30 tackles last season. I think he had a couple sacks thrown in there. He might have even had an interception. I'm not too sure. But that was when he was on the Raiders, the team with the #1 overall pick. Now just imagine what he can do with Brian Flores and the rest of this defense that he has around him. This defense could be generational, like genuinely. Some more news, the Vikings have signed Brian the real deal O'Neal, to a 4-year extension. Best right tackle in the league. So glad to have him here. I love me some Buzz Lightyear. He has just always been good. And every time I look at his age, he is younger than I thought he was. And that is such a good thing. We are going to have him. He might be one of those guys who's a lifelong Viking. And I would absolutely love that because he is so damn good. And we're always able to like restructure his contract if we need some more money or something. He's just a great asset to have. After JJ McCarthy's whole 9 thing, a lot of people have just been shitting on him. And I think if you have watched my Vikings videos, you would know I am still a JJ McCarthy believer. A lot of people, I think, are being extremely dramatic, saying he's the worst quarterback in the league and stuff like that. I disagree. There is so much worse that you could have. Before I get too much into my thoughts, let's see what he had to say. He said, quote, "Once I got healthier after that Seattle week, Washington, Dallas, I felt like I was hitting that upward trajectory, and I'm certain it's still been going up since then." His last 5 games of the season, after Kevin O'Connell learned how to run the ball, him sailing throws, him making bad decisions and stuff like that, that's his fault. 100%, and he needs to improve on that. But the thing is with that, that's coachable, that's fixable. And I do truly believe that JJ McCarthy has been getting better and better. He is really not that bad, and I really think people are being overly dramatic. And I am absolutely not ready to give up on JJ McCarthy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he was the number 10 pick. So people have higher expectations for him. I'm not exactly sure, but he has really not been that bad, especially in those last 5 games. WWE has confirmed that Roman Reigns will compete at Money in the Bank on October 10th, 2026. They released a full schedule for him from now until Money in the Bank. I believe he has 4 or 5 appearances on Raw. I think he even has one on SmackDown between now and Money in the Bank. There's mostly in September, and then I think the Raw before Money in the Bank maybe. So very glad to see Roman Reigns sticking around, at least being not disappearing for months, especially after he presumably wins after SummerSlam. Yes, it's not full time, but it's really not that big of a deal. Triple H wishes that the fans would put their passion for the WWE into the WWE talent rather than putting the blame on him and the writers. And I hate to break it to you, Papa H, but you have an entire show about not being in kayfabe, and you expect the fans to stay in kayfabe. He's over here bitching and whining about how, they don't hate me when somebody beats John Cena. They don't hate Gunther, they hate me. Why? And then at the end, he says, "I love that. I love the hate. I love the love. It's all passion for what we do. It's what we do. It's the start of a new era." If you loved the hate, you wouldn't be on Busted Open Radio whining about the hate. So that's just a blatant lie. And in this day and age with the internet, everybody knows how fake it is. And yes, well, everybody's going to know it's fake either way. You having an entire show about showing how fake the business is isn't helping. That's sure as shit true. That's for goddamn sure. But I don't understand his whining. Here's the thing, maybe make good booking decisions and then people will praise you for those good booking decisions. And when you make shit booking decisions, people will shit on you. That's how it works. So you also get credit for the good stuff. So how about you just do more good stuff? I won't go too deep into this because I made an entire video about wrestlers who are missing SummerSlam. Disgusting snubs from this year's SummerSlam. Of Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, which I get because he's out still filming Highlander. Becky Lynch, I believe that she said the reason why was because she's been working so much over like the past year, and Rue, her daughter, wanted her to be home or something like that. It was something to do with like her own personal life, which is fair enough. One of the biggest ones, Lyra Valkyria, by the way, this is her new render. I think it looks really, really cool, but that's a side note. I don't know how you have this awesome heel turn making Bayley pass out like a little bitch, and then you follow it up with a commercial break promo, nothing the next week, and not even having her at your second biggest event of the year. That is outrageous. Braun Breaker, I mean, what in the world happened to this guy? Bro is genuinely being jobbed out. Get this man out of the vision. He needs help. Because he was seen like a year ago, the future face of the WWE, making a big WrestleMania return, facing the likes of CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, betraying Seth Rollins, putting him out for months, walking around with the championship, looking awesome, looking sick with it, and now he's in a feud with Alpha Academy. So, I mean, embarrassing. Mello and Ilya, I won't even go into them because I talked heavily about them in my SummerSlam snubs video, which was a couple days ago. If you want to go watch it, I believe on Tuesday it was. That is just outrageous, though. Sol Ruka, I mean, your IC champion until like 3 days ago. Why not put Raquel versus Sol on the SummerSlam card? Would have made the moment even bigger from Raquel, and it would be a great way to get your future of women's wrestling on the card. So, yeah, lots of bad snubs this year. And lastly, but certainly not least, let's preview tonight's SmackDown. We have Cody Rhodes and CM Punk having a face-off. Gunner is advertised. What the fuck? Okay, well, Gunther is advertised. Wepa versus the War Raiders, and Julia versus Lash Legend in the final Women's Championship interim thing ladder match qualifier. And I hope Julia wins this, but honestly, there's no chance she's winning this. I would love to see Julia as the interim champion, but we all know that's not going to happen because WWE just hates her. I definitely don't mind Lash being in there, though, or her being the champion. That would be cool, too. But yeah, that is going to be it for this episode of A Latte's Vision. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, and